Hello and welcome back to another Backflip Happy Hour. I am Ryan Fring, Creative Director here at Backflip. Today I'm flying solo because I got this new shirt in. This is my new William Murray golf shirt for a golf outing next Friday. Super stoked about it. John is in the wilderness right now. He will not be joining us, but it is a happy hour, so we got to talk about our drinks. This is funny. This is maybe the first happy hour that I don't have a drink yet. I'm abstaining for a few weeks as I finish up a cut here with my diet and kind of exercise routine. So I've got this Zoa energy drink. It's pretty good. I've got some water. Me, I've always got random things. I've got this Zevia ginger root beer. I'm just substituting with junk that's going to ruin my body probably. But it tastes good, and that's what's important in life, right? But that's not why you're here. You're here to see the man, the myth, the legend. So let's go ahead and bring him in. We got Rob Pero over here. What's up, Rob?
What's up, everybody? I am coming to you from White Potato Lake, if you know where that is. Odds are you don't.
It looks like you're at a lake. I mean, your face is kind of pixelated, but right behind you, we got the water. It looks amazing. And did you text me my invite? I don't think I saw that yet.
No, you were not invited. So.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm not invited yet. Yeah.
Yet. It's a pending invite. I'm not sure where it is.
Yeah. We don't know how long it'll be pending for. Yeah. All right, what are you drinking?
No, hey, I appreciate you. Just to say, I appreciate being on the show, man. It's been a while, and happy to be back in a non-COVID world, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. We've kind of talked various times on the show through various times in the world, and yeah, we get to shoot a lot more together right now, and we actually get to hang out and have like a regular happy hour together. But today, for our digital happy hour, what do you got? What are you drinking?
Today I am drinking the Three Sheeps Fresh Coast Juicy Pale out of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. So very cool brewery. I went to high school in Plymouth, so it's cool to represent local. And I've actually been to this brewery, and they actually have a really cool for tastings. They have music, usually some food trucks set up. So I highly recommend Three Sheeps out of Sheboygan.
That's awesome. I didn't realize that they were in Sheboygan. Monica, last night she had some Three Sheeps at volleyball that I hadn't seen before, but that sounds awesome. Yeah. So for those who don't know who you are, I don't know why they don't know who you are. If they watch any of our streams, a lot of what we produce is in conjunction with you. A lot of the content we share is work that we're doing together. So people must be living under a rock. But for those who don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Rob Pero. I am the owner and director of Perodigm. We are a known media production and PR company, and have been in business about 10 years. So we do a mix of, classic studio design. We do some video production. We do we do brand development, public relations, kind of the entire repertoire of what agency does. But we like to think that we're a bit more, boutique-y. We're kind of a small, strong team that can be needed. And due to that scalability is how we were able to backflip and build our partner and collaboration. So that's been very cool for us.
Man, that sounds like you've said that a few times. You're pretty good at it.
It's actually one of our ever. But, I've been working that elevator pitch for a while, and now I got to use it.
No, that's good. It's like you're in marketing or something. Yeah, we are going to get to a little game we like to play later, Two Truths and a Lie. I know we got to get you out of here at 5, so I'm going to be coming hard and fast at you. But we get to travel a lot, and we're doing a lot of unique work, good work, and people see that online. But what's it like? I don't know, behind the scenes. What's like your normal day like? Because I feel like you're a guy who's just going and doing great stuff and always trying to achieve and work hard and help those around them. And like we've talked about before, like when we're doing that in work, then we also have to consider that, like, how do we do that with our families, especially when we're traveling? Like the last 2 weeks we've been traveling.
Yeah, behind the curtain, it's not pretty. I'm sort of a mess. I feel, it's just been kind of my entire life, to hustle and to earn a living and to, things that, drive you passion for. And I've been lucky enough to, kind of mindset that I am today, to work on this sort of work, the creative work that we're working some together, some, kind of on our own. But yeah, when you take that and kind of, put it away for a minute, and I take my work hat off and I go home, I'm just a dad of four. I have a beautiful wife. I live in a small town. I coach girls varsity golf. I volunteer for my kids' sports. I typically am the one that makes dinner every when I'm home. My wife is really good at two dishes that she both made for me while we were dating, and then it seemed to stop after that. One thing I say is, I'm this one person, this kind of beast at work, and this alpha that, just wants to execute and get stuff done. And I am nobody. I'm just dad, and I'm Rob, and I really like that. I really like not having to be somebody and just who I am and just being my family. So it definitely is a balance that, as you know, Ryan, from all our travels, is tough, because you want to have all that motivation and all that execution at work, but you also want to be able to deliver for your family. And that's sometimes where I feel lacking. And times like this, when I'm at the cottage, I'm really feeling like this is an opportunity to get full again and kind of fill my tank. So how about you, man? What's all this traveling with me like? It's got to wear on you, right?
Yeah. Well, I love that you talk about, always having that pressure to be like an alpha and get stuff done and hustle. Because that's always kind of been my personality at the company, being an owner at Backflip and creative director. It's, whether people want you to come up with a solution or not, you have to come up with a solution, and that's go and make a decision. And sometimes you're wrong, but you got to go with a decision, and you got to figure out how to deal with being wrong or turn that wrong into something right or awesome. And I too at home, kind of want to be, want to be the beta. I'm like, don't ask me questions. Don't look for my feedback. I will do what you tell me, and my wife is great. And it's something we've actually kind of realized recently while working on our house, is like, I can be very helpful at home after a long week, after travel, a weekend where I just kind of want to lay around and refresh. I can be helpful if she just asks me or tells me what to do, like, hey, I need you to replace this, fix this, and help carry this. I'm like, great, let's get this done. I'll do this for you. I turn into like a helper, as opposed to, I forget all these psychological kind of profile stuff, but as opposed to an achiever or somebody who encourages others or whatever, like I just become the help, and I love it, But to your original question, it's hard. It's really hard. And like, even being gone 2 days and coming back, like, I think it can be difficult for a parent of any amount of kids. One, we have 6, but even a parent of 1 kid, to deal with everything on their own and really only deal with their spouse on the phone or text for a few days can be difficult. And even though we take, whatever measures it is to make sure that it goes smoothly, and come home and, you're just like up in your head, or she's frustrated because things happen during the day, and so like it takes extraordinary patience, which I don't have regularly, and that's kind of the thing that I'm working on. But I think it takes extraordinary patience on both partners' sides to really, come together and sacrifice and make it work.
Yeah, it's kind of the patience thing, but for me, it's about perspective, and I need to, when I'm gone for 3 days, it doesn't family's life stops. They're going to continue on and do things and go to practice and have friend get-togethers, and my wife's going to go to somewhere for dinner with my kids and another set of friends. So they're going to continue to have experiences, and I have to understand that as part of it, and not only like empower them to do that and continue to live their life without me, perspective, and not sometimes get jealous that of those things, and not really jealousy so much, but almost like I almost feel a little guilty. And on the opposite end, the perspective that my wife would have, where I'm traveling and I'm working, where hotel restaurants, but that stuff wears you very thin. And some of the heavy work that we do, and just interviewing people, just in the kind of work that we do, can just be very intense and rigorous and depleting in some ways. So I think perspective from both sides is important, and patience is obviously a virtue that we all, as the business owner, deployers, manage what to do, it's where we definitely can use that to our advantage and gain more perspective because of that patience. So I'm with you on that, man.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have good people around you too. Like, I've very much enjoyed getting to know you and working with you and becoming friends, because I feel like when you can get on that level, you can make each other better. And the same thing with my partners. Scott is one guy who always takes the time to be like, hey, maybe approach it from this angle, because I kind of bull ahead and bull through stuff to get things done and get things done my way. But when you're working with other people, you got to have that patience and that charity to, I don't know, be better together, right? And so I really cherish kind of all these relationships and our relationship, because I feel like I just learn so much, and I'm encouraged to pause, like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm just going to fix this, and I'm going to tell this person this and that and this. And then you have a conversation. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to take it slow. I'm going to ask more questions. I'm going to seek understanding, and then we'll go from there,
Well, I think you and I, as we've developed and evolved our relationship, have had to have some of those conversations to add perspective to what we're both thinking and maybe saying, or not saying, but maybe thinking. So,
yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
But it's good that we can talk about.
What's that?
I said it's good that we can talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like too, we've, working together for like 2 years, I guess now, right?
Yeah.
We've kind of gotten to a point where it's like, okay, we're beyond pretext and kind of, I don't know, dancing around stuff. And she's like, hey, what's up? What's going on with this, or where's this, or this, it makes it a lot easier to just chat and like, hey, we're both in this together. Let's figure it out, because we are dealing with very complicated clients, projects, pieces, creative, the matter, the source material itself, so there's just so many ways that it could be more difficult, but because we've been able to connect, I feel like we're able to do, really good film fest winning work.
Yeah, man. Like real deal stuff, dude. Like impactful stuff that, like I said, stroking your ego anymore. Like, we're just lucky to have kind of fallen into this partnership. It would seem very serendipitous. at the time, and it just seems to have worked out really well. And if it wasn't working out well, we would both know that. So cheers to that, my friend. And by the way, this is a white potato drink. So as you can see, here's a 32-ounce plastic cup from like a 7-Eleven or a Quick Trip from like 1992. But hold on, 1994, because Collins was the Penn State All-American. It's like a Sports Illustrated Legends. But anyway, long story short, this is what my wife drinks old fashions out of at our cottage in northern Wisconsin. So much respect, Wisconsin, on handling your alcohol, I think. A little ridiculous, amazing. But it's still kind of fun.
No, that's how we roll. Well, and we talk about this too. Like we deal with such heavy stuff. Like it's so nice to step aside and just connect and be personable. And certainly have our happy hours, because I think it's kind of a theme here. It just makes us connect better.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's an alcoholic drink or if it's a water and you're just downloading after an intense, piece of work or piece of filming or whatever, it's that after time that I think for us creatives allows us to be like, let our guards down and not have to talk. So say what's on our mind and just be goofy with each other. And I think that ultimately makes us a great team.
Yeah. Again, I think it kind of gets to that idea that the pretext is gone or whatever. And Hannah's asking me a question.
Right.
Yes, that's fine.
Hi, Hannah.
Let me watch something.
Yeah.
She can't hear you. Headphones on. Screen time. Yeah. Monica's actually working right now. Excuse me.
Gotcha.
And that's a fun thing too. Just the different temperaments and I don't know, figuring out how you work together. And I feel like we've talked about this before, how similar you and I are, kind of being military brats growing up in different locations and kind of developing personalities where you got to be able to gel in random situations with so many different types of people. So you feel like a chameleon. I think that was a word that you used. And I was like, yes, sometimes I feel like a chameleon. And with Monica, I'm like, I don't want to be a chameleon with you. I just want to be me, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Let's figure it out together. But yeah, I don't know. There's no question there.
Do you think that you are yourself when you're at home? Do you think that you have a while that you have to kind of tone it down before you are that beta of yourself?
Yeah, it's interesting. And cheers to you, Sharon. Thanks again for sharing stuff and being a fan.
Chi-Chi! What's up?
She's a family member, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chi, then they've been living under a rock for the last, I wouldn't say however many years, Chi, but it's been a while. But Chi-Chi is awesome. Our biggest fan, a huge supporter of our work, and police officer herself, living in the Metro Milwaukee area.
Oh, wow.
And just a young person that is very supportive of all of family members' endeavors. So of Chief Felber.
Absolutely. So we'll give another shout out right there. Boom. You're on screen.
Yeah.
And if you participate, Chi-Chi, in our Two Truths and a Lie, we'll send you some sweet backflip happy hour coasters. So we've almost got them made. So we'll get those out. Yeah, you were asking, do I feel myself at home?
Really?
Yeah. It's difficult. And, Monica and I talk about this, like, and it always changes with the seasons. I struggle coming home and feeling like a human being, because just at work, it's that completely different mentality of like, okay, here's 30 things that have to get done, and I got to coordinate with these people on my team. I got to coordinate with these people on the client's team, this communication, that I got to get this work done myself. I got to manage this. I got to, and that, excuse me, all the suds in these fake sugar drinks and these stevia drinks are getting to me. All of that, just go. It just gets my mind going like a locomotive, right? So it's going and it's going, and then I come home, and you want to put that away, but it's really hard to put to stop that locomotive. And I'm working on this metaphor on the fly, but get it going in a different direction. It's got so much momentum and it's going fast, and like I have just very little patience when somebody starts screaming and somebody starts yelling and then this and that, and I have trouble with that, and I'm trying to work on a way to like decompress. And we were constantly talking about what that looks like, and I think part of it is like I just need to come home and help take charge, which is the last thing I want to do, but it's what my wife needs at the time, because she's been going for 12 hours with the kids or whatever it is, and she also needs a break. I haven't been going with the kids. I've been going with something else. So like when I got back yesterday, did I get back yesterday from our trip? Yeah. She was trying to make dinner, and I just stepped in. I was like, guys, come with me, come hang out. We're going to go do this thing over here. And I still had to unpack some things. I still had to do some follow-ups. I still had work to do, but I think it was helpful. At least it seemed helpful just to be able to come in, take charge, and do that. And yeah, certainly, I mean, I was myself to some degree, but I was still kind of being that leader, that particular, I don't know, maybe alpha or the father figure that I should be.
I should step. Sure.
What's that?
Are you saying I should? Yeah. I should step and be a leader when I go home? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. So if you have any advice, I'll take that as well. Like I'm so happy to be the beta yes man, but I think right away when I come home, Monica just needs me to take all the difficult stuff off her plate and manage. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing about work and family. We can turn work off and go home, but our family's always there. So I'm with you, man. And I think, maybe we can go, some group therapy on how we can be better dads in that transition of when we go home and make that transition a little bit. Because, I want to come home and I want to be one of the kids, and I just want to be fed, and I want screen time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a difficult thing too, because like you'll have to answer this for yourself. But I'm an introvert, but when I'm out, I can be extroverted. Like I very much enjoy that and function in that way, kind of like that chameleon we talked about. But like, how do I recharge? That's kind of one philosophy of if you're an introvert or extrovert. I recharge by being alone, by reading a book by myself, by learning things on the internet, by organizing things, by myself. That's how I recharge. So when I don't get that, mentally, it's difficult for me to come out of the funk or be ready to, be me at home. What are you? Are you introverted or extroverted, or how do you recharge?
I think I'm an odd combination of both as well, and I do so much work that's with people, that is engaging, and it does take a lot of energy to engage with people. But as you said, us coming from the background of the military brat, being able to people was a survival tactic for me, and it was kind of the only way that I was going to be entertained. Back in the 80s and 90s when we didn't have computers and phones and all that, you just had to go make friends. So, it's I think for me, when I do a lot of travel on my own, so I spend a lot of time, and I luckily enough can self-entertain, which I know I'm introverted in a lot of ways. And I know to some folk very, very extroverted, where I want everybody to be my friend. And, the older I get, the more I realize I don't have capacity for that, even though the intention is there, and the integrity of that intention is true. I do want people to like me, but something that I work on, and it's not easy to overcome, and it really is built into the DNA of who I am. So I have to figure out that because it takes a lot of energy. But I still don't know. I don't know what the right way for me to make my intro versus extro and all that is. But I do think being of self-care is ultimately important. And like you said, you need to do things, whether working out or whether it's, taking charge to get home, or whether it's going down playing video games. We all need time for ourselves, for that self-care, that mindfulness, to kind of recharge a little bit, so we can what we want to be. Number one, family, and number two, well. But okay, man, it's a delicate balance, and the older I get, the more I realize how much energy that stuff takes. Really exhausted after interviews, man. I'm sure you're the same way too, but it's hard work talking to people. Other people believe not. It really is hard work.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that because, just like looking at the schedule, it's like, okay, well, this event is, from 11 to 2. So we'll get set up a couple hours early, and then it takes a couple hours to tear down. But the main bulk of it is, 3-ish hours. But I think what people don't realize is that it's intense mental focus for 3 hours. So, and emotional to some degree. So you just have that focus, and there's all the prep, there's all the teardown. At the end of the night, we got to go and unload all the footage and back that up. And, it looks like a 3-hour shoot day, but it's like, really, that's a 10-hour or 12-hour, or like with the travel, it's like, that was 16 hours. That was a 16-hour day, even though it didn't look like much. Right. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot harder jobs than what we do, but just kind of acknowledging what that looks like, I think, is important too.
Yeah, no, I agree. What's your what is Backflip, or specifically you? Do you feel like you've gained anything or achieved some new sort of grandiose perspective on things by working with me or with Perodigm? Like, have we impacted you in some way for the good?
Ooh, boy, heavy questions. Wow. I mean, the short answer, well, certainly, personally and professionally, there's been a lot creatively in that as well. I think, there's just so much. I'm trying to think of how to answer this and let you get out of here at 5. Personally, it's been great. It's been great because I built, John and I, and then Scott joined us, like building an agency from the ground up, and never worked at other agencies. So made a lot of stuff up. Right. And then in working with other agencies is how we kind of confirm, like, hey, how do other people do it? And is what we do common? Is it uncommon? Is it better? Is it worse? And then we can kind of adjust. So, professionally, that's been really great to work with you guys, to see that and how you do things. But then creatively as well, just to be able to tell really important, unique stories kind of in this realm that we normally wouldn't necessarily have access to, kind of the indigenous stuff, the sex trafficking stuff. And I think it's important work and important stories that we've been able to be a part of. So that's really, really good. And then just, personally as friends, we text each other daily with the workout stuff, kind of a little bit of an accountability. And I think I posted a picture today of us at the hotel right before we were about to punch each other in the stomach.
Yep.
And that's
I
kind of
saw that.
our relationship. And I really appreciate that because, I see you as a brother personally, and in kind of, in that we share all this together and are hopefully learning how to do better and learning and growing, in many different ways. So, I mean, that's kind of the tip of the iceberg in those three categories. But what about for you? I mean, what's been positive for you?
Yeah. I mean, just, your team is made up of good people. But I realized, from the get-go and that first meeting that we had, and I think I'm a pretty good reader of the, you can see when people have agenda, or they have ego, or, you can, and I can tell if you were someone that to work with or not. That's simple enough. So from that, I realized that you guys were immensely talented and professional, and also had a really cool sense of humor. We're working on some really cool stuff, and personally, I was connected obviously with you, with John and Scott as well. But, it was just one of those things that I was excited for the opportunity to challenge myself in working with, a level of creatives, such as Backflip, and being able to bring what we had to the table. It was a little bit, I would say, intimidating at the time. We had worked with production companies that had done, but we were, you guys ain't cheap either. So, it was a little intimidating to come in and see the studio and have what you guys were doing and listen to you guys talk all smart. But that being said, and the credibility for what you guys lend, and the ability that you guys have to listen, I think is an attribute that gets lost in today's society. And you guys are real listeners, and you take it in, and you're articulate with, and I think that, and the ability to look outside of what vacuum or environment may have lent perspective, I think is really, really important for the kind of work that we do, as we're a native owned media production company, and you're a non-native owned, really a bunch of Catholic guys jokingly call you. So I think it's a beautiful, because all of us from different backgrounds have come together and found this way to work together and build friendships and build professional relationships and put out really important, meaningful content and raise voice of, in areas that people really don't want to talk about, the way that's sensitive and articulate and digestible. And that in and of itself, work is amazingly fun, and downloading about the work that we're doing, friends, is the icing on the cake for me. So it's the same for us. We just are really appreciative of our relationship, beyond just work, but creatively, collaboratively. The future just looks better and better the more we, kind of let our guard down and keep together. So I'm just super jacked about it. And I feel like you've made us a ton better, and me better as a person. Me definitely getting in better shape is a lot because of you, because you're so crazy about it. But I've, in my minute craziness, I've found a good medium for me to 195 and be in way better shape, and maybe I'm mad as the older that I get, but I'm never going to be you, Ryan. I'm never going to be as cut as you or as jacked. But I feel like I did win the 6-pack contest at the Country and Sweets the other night. At least I did.
Yeah, I mean, I think you were just hitting way harder than I was, and it's whoever cries uncle first, and I probably cried uncle first.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I talked to you in the bed that night. It's okay. I did notice in that I look absurdly larger than you. Like I look like a heavyweight, and you look like a flyweight. So I know you're all cut, but
the funny
the
thing, like,
mass.
it's so weird. Like, you're at 195, you're a couple inches taller than me. I today had a 182 weigh-in. When that picture was taken, I might have been up a little higher because it's like the end of the day, water weight. So like you might have only had 10 pounds on me. I don't understand how weight works at all. Like it makes no sense. But I definitely probably had to go to bed because you hurt me.
Good.
I do like that
Again.
point you made too of like when we talk, about the indigenous stuff too. It's a joke, but it's kind of fun too. You're like, yeah, got this indigenous dude, Rob, who's telling these Catholic boys what to do, on this project. And Carolyn's just saying collaboration among people who have shared commonalities while still bringing their unique perspectives, backgrounds, and voices is magic. And I think that's kind of what makes what we're doing unique. And this doesn't have to be an us fest, but I think it's important because, this is stuff that I'm not aware of and have never seen and am not familiar with. I'm not familiar with the struggles of native country and like the issues of human trafficking or sex trafficking there that we're uncovering and helping tell stories of. And what that looks like in conjunction with big corporations, and sussing all that out and just being able to get in there and tell stories has been amazing. And yeah, makes us better because we're seeing something that is not normal to us.
Well, I think guys aren't just going to like, hey, we're just going to set up cameras and just film whatever you tell us to, Rob. Like, you guys really want to understand and learn and just be more aware, and I think all as, people who are searching to better, we want to, as we get older, we want to be wiser and more knowledgeable and more experienced and more aware of things. And I think the fact that we can come from such different backgrounds and find common ground to collaborate, really work to understand things that we don't, is something that in a microcosm is something that we would love on more of a larger scale, with people that maybe don't understand each other, listen and be more empathetic. But that's what you guys have done so amazing together, is you've invested in it. You've invested in us. You've invested in the work that we do in Native country, the work that we do, with really tough issues. Because it would be very easy to just check out and just, do production, not invest in that. And I think the more people that we can get to actually listen and invest in what they're doing with purpose, I think the more better content is see. And that's what we're seeing from that we're doing. That's really resonating. That stuff is, it's just sounding like a big us fest as I see more people dropping off as they keep listening to us talk about we are for each other.
That's the whole purpose of a happy hour. Yeah. And what you're talking about there too, I'm so excited. Max, our new guy. Did you meet Max yet?
Yeah. No, Maximilian, I have not. Nope.
Okay.
Pretty excited to meet him.
Next time you're in. Yeah, he's awesome. We employed him previously, and then we sold him. I don't. That's probably bad in the context of human trafficking. His contract was bought out by the company that he was working for. So then he worked with them directly just for several years, and then Andrew left us. Andrew, who was doing a lot of the edits with me for the public awareness campaign work, he left. Jeff jumped in, and then we hired Max. So now Max is getting to work on some of these with Jeff and me. And it's so much fun because he just went through the Anton Schroyer interview, and he's like, oh my gosh, this part's so good. This stuff's so good. I've got a couple different edits that we could go, but we went in this direction. And I'm like, dude, all the things he's talking about, just wait until you listen to these interviews from Jim Jones James Jones the second or the third, the son of Jim Jones Jr. Like the things Anton's talking about are the things that Jim's son lived.
James Jones is living. Yeah.
James Jones. Yeah. It's very difficult because it's like Jim, who I know as Jim Jones, he's James Jones, the junior, but then I think his son is James Jones, but is he the second? Or do they have different middle names? It was very unclear. I don't know how to label them. I don't know how to label the files on the server.
I'll let you figure that out. No, but I hear you. I can't wait to Max. You know what? Tell me one word that would describe Max.
Ooh. That's good. Energy. Yeah.
Is that 2 words? Energy. Yeah.
Energy. Yeah, it's like 5. Yeah, no, it's he's super energetic. And he brings that positivity and that energy to everything. And so like as I was leaving, I was like, hey, I'm gonna have some more comments, and I was thinking kind of this way, so I'll send some comments and then you guys can take a look. And he's like, oh, okay, that sounds great. And I actually do have these other things over here, and so I could render them off and upload them, and you could look at them, and but if not, that's okay too. We could just do the first thing, and yeah, that's fine too. Just like kind of talking through all the iterations of the options, just with an energy and an exuberance, and
providing you peace of mind, no matter what you say, it's all going to be all right.
Yeah. And I want to be too, and maybe Max is watching. I want to be like, hey, it's cool if you have a different opinion. You could just say that, and you don't have to, I don't know, be like, oh, it's okay too. We don't have to do that. Like, that's very polite and kind, and just that positive energy, which is very helpful. So that's kind of what I would say. Energetic. He's also super funny. He's super comedic. But like
Sweet.
He brings energetic timing. So like the stuff he's cutting with Anton is really, really great and super impactful. And it's weird because it's like, oh, comedic and energetic on this heavy subject. It's like, well, that's kind of a framework of perspective. And then within that, you can get serious. So I think we're always going to get very energetic work out of him, which is, fantastic. So yeah, that's my word.
I love that. Energetic. Very cool. I think you could have done better, but that'll work for now.
What's your one word for me?
It used to be doughy, but now that you've been working out, I can't say that. What would I say to you? What's a good word for Ryan Frang?
There's no wrong answers unless you have a wrong answer.
Oh man.
Or there's no stupid questions.
Let me come back to that.
Just stupid people. He also Max also loves the show Dead Eyes, which apparently is an awesome podcast that I haven't listened to yet.
Oh. I was wondering what Dead Eyes was. I thought we were maybe frozen and we just had Dead Eyes. That's why Caroline. Is it Carolyn or Caroline? Carolyn said that.
Caroline.
Anyway.
Carolyn, Brian. Carolyn.
Gotcha. Carolyn. My bad.
Yeah. Can't believe you.
Yeah. I mean, what would I say about you? You ooze something.
I should get that looked at.
And it was, I know. Golly, I want to find I feel like there's a cool word for it. I'll come back to it. Let me percolate on that.
It'll be time for the percolator. All right. So I got to get you out of here in about 13 minutes. So
12.
Yeah. I think we all let's see. We all know what time it is.
The truth and a lie.
Isn't that just the cutest thing ever? Two truths and a lie. I had Magdalene, the 4-year-old, come down here really quick before
thanks.
an episode
That's
a couple
awesome.
weeks ago, and I was like, record it. Just say it. Just say it. She's awesome. That's like makes my heart melt. So I did give you the heads up at the beginning that we're going to play this, so I hope you're ready. I can go first though, and then we'll save you for last. So anybody who's listening at home too, you get to. Carolyn says ooze. Sounds like Ryan's word or Rob's word for Ryan. From doughy to ooze. You just keep getting better.
I think that's a yeah.
All right. So 2 truths and a lie. So I'm gonna try to stump you. People at home may know this as well because some of these are true. Some of them are lies. Don't know which. All right. So I was born in Rhode Island. Then we moved to Virginia, and then Florida, and then Kenosha. Military brat. Let's see. Now I got to think of some lies or some truths.
Wait, that was the lie. Oh.
Well, or it's the truth. So born in Rhode Island, then we moved to Virginia, then Florida, and then Kenosha. I gotta keep the lie all straight in my head.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, I was a bouncer in college at Madison Avenue, Mad Ave bar. There was like 3 bars. There was like Johnny O's, Mad Ave, and I forget the name of the third one. Johnny O's was upstairs and the other 2 were downstairs. So I was a bouncer. That's number 2. And number 3 is I was asked by a bouncer to turn my camera away when I was in Nashville because Reese Witherspoon was standing like 10 feet away from us, and they didn't want us recording her with my camera while we were sitting at lunch. So those are my 3. So number 1, born in Rhode Island, other places I lived. Number 2, bouncer at Mad Ave. Number 3, I was told by a bouncer to not film Reese Witherspoon while just sitting with a camera at lunch. So you guys should guess at home. We'll give them a second to guess at home. There's like a 20-second delay for them. So we'll give them a minute. Yeah. You can ruminate on them.
Okay,
though.
I know that you lived in a bunch of spots, and I be pissing me on like those. But and I'm surprised you were a bouncer because you seem so tiny. So maybe you were bouncing like or something, making sure people were putting appropriate coins in there. Just giving you mad shit right now. I think it's got to be the last one. The last one's a lie. The Reese Witherspoon thing.
That's your vote. All right. So we got 2 votes. Or 3 votes. You got the last one is Reese Witherspoon. Carolyn thinks it's the wrong celebrity. And Chi-Chi says not a bouncer. I was a bouncer. Yeah. I was a bouncer at Mad Ave for like a couple months. And then 2 truths and a lie, no apostrophe. Thanks, Carolyn. Yeah. I mean, so it's hilarious because I'm not bouncer sized, but I had to bounce like a 350-pound former Marine who was chucking bottles in a bathroom. I think I've told this story before, but I just had to go in and be like chill, like Chameleon, like, dude, what's going on? You okay? And he's like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And the service, and I was like, oh man, thank you so much for your service. Like, I can't imagine what you've gone through, and blah blah blah. And he calmed down, and then I think his friends came in, and I was like, hey, you guys got to get him out of here. He's breaking bottles, and you don't want the bouncers to get him out of here. I like separated myself from them. I was like, you don't want the bouncers to throw him out the side door. And they're like, oh, so sorry. So, you know, just kind of using that chameleon skill to get him to calm down and then get the friends out. So, yep. That was my bouncer story. And the Reese Witherspoon story is true. We were filming down there for our documentary, the Power in My Hands documentary about the rosary. We happened to choose this burger joint, sat down with a camera, and a big burly dude walks over and he's like, excuse me, sir, I know you're not filming, but just please keep your camera turned away from that room. And we were like right next to the room. It was a private room. And we're like, okay, something's going on in there. And, you know, 1 second later, Reese Witherspoon walks out and is standing by the bar. And then John's like trying to get a picture. So he's like across the table to the woman that's there, Margie. He's like, hey, let me get a picture of you, Margie. And he like holds it up. And then the bouncer like is a smart guy. He sees what's happening. He just kind of slides over in the way. So there's like this partial photo that John has of her. So yeah, that was true. That is, words are better than brawn. Thank you.
The lie was what?
Oh, and the lie. Sorry.
What's the lie then?
Didn't know where I was going. I was born in Virginia, not Rhode Island. So I've talked about that enough. I feel like.
What's the lie?
Oh, go ahead. I was born in Virginia, not Rhode Island. So I said I was born in Rhode Island and moved to Virginia. It was Virginia. I've shared that information with everyone, so I feel like that's a good lie. Yeah, that's it. All right. You're up, Rob. And Sharon, we're going to be sending you some gifts for participating. So please do send us your address. If not, maybe we'll just give them to Rob and he can give it to you at the next family event. But you can just send us a message on Messenger. So, all right, Robert, all right. What do you got for us?
Okay. So I once, my mother-in-law is in the other room. I once dunked a basketball on the UW Milwaukee Panther floor. That's my number one. And at the time I was 6'1", about 160 pounds, and I could jump and do stuff back then. My second one is I got stuck in a construction site, and back when I lived in Texas, and I thought I was going to die. I was walking to the gas station to buy some candy, because that's what parents used to kids do back in the day with like no, like where they were. And I walked and took a shortcut construction site, and it was very wet the day before, and my feet started sinking as I was walking through, and my feet got, I couldn't move. My sandals were stuck, so it was either my sandals are going to die or I'm going to die. So I left my sandals in, and I plucked my feet out of this mud, and I ran across this construction site, and I got out. Never found my sandals. My last one is as a child, I heard, if you write to Hasbro, specifically for characters like to develop, and I was a huge He-Man fan, that they may take your idea and actually create a character from it. So I drew this half horse, half man character. He was a centaur, and I sent that off to Hasbro. And 2 years later, they actually created the centaur character that was based upon, I got a letter saying that, based upon my ideas, how they created that centaur character for He-Man in like 1988 or something like that. So those are my three. I dunked a basketball on the UM Panther basketball court, and I got my feet stuck and lost my sandals in a construction site in Texas. And I drew a centaur and sent it off to Hasbro in the 80s to the He-Man reps. And 2 years later, they created the character.
Ooh, yeah. All right, these are good. So we've got some guesses, or let's get some guesses at home. Online, you can comment. Guess the middle one is a lie. Maybe happened to a friend, Carolyn says. So she's guessing number 2. You got your foot stuck in a construction site. Thought you were going to die walking to the gas station in Texas. Yeah, remember when we could like go to the store and our parents would be like, all right, see you in an hour. Good luck. Don't get hit by a car. Now my kid wants to go to the park, which is
I'm
like
home for
4
dinner.
blocks. Yeah, 4 blocks away. And I'm like, take the phone, take the little relay device so I can track you.
I know.
All right, what else do we got? Chi-Chi, if you're on, you get your guess in. Let's see. I believe the third one is true, or you're embellishing on it and then it's false. I think it's true because I've heard that story before. At least what I think was that story. So you could be lying. It could be not a centaur or something, or they maybe not turned it into a character, but it sounds like the story that I heard. So I think number 3 is true. I like to think number 1 is true, that you dunked a basketball. It's like the smallest story you told, though. And then number 2 was kind of big. Yeah. I was going to guess number 2. So it'd be hard to say. I'm trying to think of when you were in Texas. So I'm going to guess number 2 is a lie as well, because I want number 1 to be true. And I feel like I know number 3 is true.
Well, number 1 is true. I did dunk a basketball. I dunked a basketball twice in my life. And the first one was at the UW Panthers
Nice.
when I was a freshman in college. My buddies did not believe me. So when I came to Madison a few days later, I could jump high enough, but I couldn't palm the basketball. So when I did come to Madison the week later and I told my buddies about it, they said, right now we're going out to the court and you're going to dunk a basketball. And I did it. And I've never done it since. Right. So that's true. Number 2 is absolutely true. I lived in Texas in the 80s when my dad got a job down at Caterpillar. And we moved down there. And actually, my grandfather moved down there because he needed work, too, because there was a recession back in the early 80s. And my grandfather moved down to Texas with us and lived there with us for a couple years and got work. And that really did happen. I think I might have peed my pants in the construction site. I had to pee really bad. So there was a tiny little spot of urine with sandals. Someday someone will dig up. And the third one is almost true, very embellished. They did not send me a letter and say that I made it into a character. So it's a bit of a nuanced statement there. But they did. That was tricky because
I remembered your story. Yeah.
Yes. So I've been setting the stage to trick you at Truth and a Lie for probably 2 years, and I've done it.
That's a genius strategy where you just kind of pepper vague random stories, and then when we play this game, you just embellish and then you win. So great work. You win. Carolyn, you can just have all the swag because you answer all the time. And Sharon, please do send us your info. We'll make sure that we get you some of that sweet happy hour swag. But that's what we got for today. Thanks so much for coming on here. I know you're traveling, you're on vacation. It's 5:01. I want to get you out of here so you can
go letter, Carolyn. Sorry. No letter.
Vacate.
Yeah.
No letter.
Carolyn's really concerned about my royalties from the centaur character from the late 80s.
Yeah. So. That's awesome. So yeah, thanks for jumping on.
Hey,
thanks, Carolyn and Sharon.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate everything that you've brought to our team and to me personally over years. And it's just cool to have conversations like this. And happy to see who's on the next happy hour, man. Hope you guys have a great fly weekend.
Yeah, man. Likewise. And next time we'll get even deeper. We'll get to those fun stories of when we were younger, so people can see the real Ryan and the real Rob, and know a little bit more about how we got here. And that'll be awesome. Yeah. So I don't actually know who's coming up next. Summer's been crazy. We've been filming so much. Next Friday we're on a golf thing. I think we are back the following Friday, but we're filming in 2 weeks. So like my brain is kind of focusing on all these projects and not on happy hour. So we'll share whoever we're talking with. You can watch all the backlog though. Down below, you can subscribe to our podcast. We're updating our Let's Backflip podcast with these episodes. They're going to be coming out every Saturday. So you can listen to it there. There's not a lot of visual comedy going on or visual, so you don't necessarily need to watch it unless you want to watch it live on Facebook, which is fun. So you can listen in your podcast and subscribe. That's what we got. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks, Chi-Chi. Thanks, everyone else. And especially, thank you, Rob. That's what we got. Everyone have a safe and awesome 4th, and we'll see you next time. Bye.